Did the Army capture a live ET in 1996? The Varginha case that Brazil cannot forget. In January 1996, 3 girls saw something that would change their lives forever. What they found in that vacant lot in Varginha shouldn't exist, and what happened in the next 48 hours was covered up by the Brazilian government. Until today, you're about to discover never-before-revealed details about Brazil's most documented UFO case. Witnesses who broke their silence, animals that died mysteriously, secret military operations, and a creature that may have been kept alive. Prepare yourself, because this story goes far beyond what you've been told. The day that changed Varginha, it was January 20th, 1996. Varginha, a quiet town in the interior of Minas Gerais, was about to become the epicenter of the largest extraterrestrial contact case ever recorded in Brazil. 3 young women, Katia, Liliane, and Valkyria, were walking along Benevenuto Braz Street around 3:30 p.m. What they saw in that vacant lot made them stop instantly. The creature was crouched down, apparently injured or scared. It was approximately 1.5 meters tall, had oily brown skin, huge red eyes that seemed to glow, and 3 protrusions on its head, like horns or antennae. But the most disturbing thing wasn't its appearance. It was the smell. A penetrating odor of ammonia that permeated the air around the creature. The 3 young women ran away, terrified. They didn't know it, but they were about to trigger one of the biggest military cover-ups in Brazilian history. And here's the first detail that few people know. They weren't the first to see the creature that day. The witnesses nobody heard hours before the 3 young women's sighting. A couple of local farmers had reported to the police the presence of a strange animal near their farm. The military police were called, but when they arrived at the location, they found only strange marks on the ground and that same unbearable smell of ammonia. Firefighters were called to capture what they thought was a wild animal. But when they arrived, they realized it wasn't any known animal. What happened in this operation remains classified to this day. Witnesses report that at least 2 creatures were captured alive that weekend. One on the 20th, another on the 21st. Both were taken away in military operations coordinated with surgical precision. But wait, if 2 creatures were captured, where did they come from? And more importantly, how many actually fell in Varginha? The ship nobody saw fall. Reports from local residents and air traffic controllers indicate that on the night of January 19th, one day before the sightings, a flaming object crossed the sky of southern Minas Gerais. Witnesses in 3 different cities described the same thing. A fireball leaving a smoke trail, moving erratically, clearly out of control. The trajectory, straight toward the rural area of Varginha. The next morning, farmers found a circular-shaped burned area in the woods. Strange metallic fragments were collected by curious onlookers before the army completely isolated the region. Those fragments were never returned to the landowners. Independent analyses conducted by researchers and other ufological groups suggest it wasn't a ship, but some kind of escape pod, as if the beings had been ejected from a mothership in distress. And this is where the story gets truly dark, because if these creatures fell injured and disoriented, they weren't invaders, they were survivors. The zoo and the unexplained deaths. 5 days after the captures, something extraordinary happened at the Varginha Municipal Zoo. Animals started dying, not naturally, but quickly, violently, and mysteriously. The first to die was a tapir, then 2 peccaries. All showed the same symptoms: vomiting, convulsions, internal bleeding, and that characteristic smell of ammonia. The responsible veterinarian, Dr. Leila Cabral, was perplexed. No known toxin caused that pattern of symptom. She requested a detailed autopsy, but before she could perform the procedures, the animal bodies were confiscated by army officials. The official explanation? Routine sanitary procedures. But witnesses report that the animals were removed in special refrigerated containers, escorted by unmarked military vehicles. The question that terrifies researchers: did these animals die from contact with the creatures? Or were they used as guinea pigs to test something that was extracted from them? The military operation that never happened, according to the Brazilian army. No special operation was carried out in Varginha in January 1996. No object was captured. No creature was transported. But dozens of witnesses tell a different story. Would you like me to continue translating the rest of the text, or would you prefer a more formal or casual tone for this translation? Residents report street blockades, unidentified helicopters flying over the region during the early morning hours, military trucks with tarps covering bulky cargo. A military police officer who participated in the first capture, Marco Chiriz, died 2 weeks later under mysterious circumstances. The official cause of death? Systemic infection. But he was perfectly healthy before the incident. His family reports that he came home after the operation with strange marks on his arms and complaining of high fever. Military personnel who participated in the operations were transferred to distant bases shortly after the events. Many signed confidentiality agreements. Some, years later, broke their silence, but always anonymously, fearing retaliation. And the fate of the captured creatures? Leaked documents suggest they were taken to the Campinas base and then to facilities in the southern region of the country. The pet theory here's a revelation that may completely change your understanding of the case. The Varginha creatures may not have been crew members of a ship. Researchers, analyzing the behavioral patterns described by witnesses, reached a disturbing conclusion. The creatures acted like scared animals. They showed no advanced technology, didn't attempt communication, didn't display intelligent behavior characteristic of beings who master interstellar travel. They hid. They trembled. They emitted sounds resembling moans of pain. Their behavior was almost amphibian, preferring humid areas, avoiding direct sunlight. The most accepted theory among serious ufologists, these creatures were biological life forms kept by a more advanced civilization, perhaps as pack animals, biological experiments, or even as a source of food or genetic material. When the mothership had problems, these life forms were ejected, discarded as non-essential cargo. They weren't the visitors, they were just leftovers. The documentary that changed everything in 2022, American filmmaker James Fox released Moment of Contact, a documentary that brought new witnesses and unprecedented evidence about Varginha. For the first time, military personnel spoke openly about the operations, even without revealing complete identities. The documentary presents forensic analyses of the creatures' descriptions, 3D reconstructions based on multiple accounts, and most impressively, photographic evidence of unusual military movements that weekend. A particularly disturbing detail revealed in the documentary: multiple independent witnesses describe having seen not 2, but at least 4 different creatures. If this is true, where are the other 2? Varginha today, the ET capital. The city has embraced its history. The ET Memorial, inaugurated in 2015, functions as the tourism department and ufological research center. It has a planetarium, replicas of the creatures based on original reports, and permanent exhibitions about the case. But the memorial is more than a tourist attraction. It's a living archive. Researchers from around the world visit Varginha to interview witnesses, many of whom only now, decades later, feel safe to share what they saw. Every year, around the date of the incident, the International Ufology Congress of Varginha takes place, bringing together the planet's leading experts to debate not only the local case, but its global implication. What the government knows in 2023, declassified documents from the Brazilian Air Force mention anomalous events in Varginha in January 1996. The documents confirm tracking of an unidentified object, but stop there. The following pages remain classified with national security status. Why, 29 years later, does the Brazilian government still consider information about Varginha a matter of national security? What exactly is being protected? Military witnesses who agreed to speak under condition of anonymity reveal that at least one of the creatures survived capture for weeks, that communication attempts were made, that it showed signs of basic but not technological intelligence, and that when it died, its body was cryogenically preserved and remains in an undisclosed military facility to this day. If you've made it this far, you now know more about the Varginha case than 99% of the Brazilian population. But this is only the surface. In the next videos, we'll dive into the 49 catalogued extraterrestrial races, including the one that may have been responsible for the Varginha creatures. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because the revelations to come will make Varginha seem like just the beginning of something much bigger. And leave in the comments, do you believe the Brazilian government keeps a preserved ET in some secret military base? The next video will reveal connections between Varginha and similar cases in South America that have never been thoroughly investigated. Get ready. Would you like me to adjust the tone to be more formal or more casual for this type of content?